Hi, this is Joe Zerhusen, the voice of the Cincinnati Reds at Great American Ballpark. When I need the latest breaking news regarding LaSalle Lancer athletics, I turn to the radio voice of the LaSalle Lancers, Barrett Cohen, in WLSN Radio. Lancers roll deep.
I got a feeling that tonight's
It's Barrett Cohen, WLSN, and I have the pleasure of joining us with tonight the head coach of your LaSalle Lancer football team. He is Tom Grippa. Coach, welcome to the show tonight.
Thanks, Barrett. I'm happy to be here.
Coach, before we turn the page to Moeller, let's turn the page back shortly to the game that was Friday night at West Bishop Watterson. But let's turn the page if we could. And you probably had some question marks, perhaps, just by the history of you guys going north. I mean, you really haven't fared that well in the past. Is that accurate, that you were a little concerned about that?
I was really concerned. The last time we went to Bishop Watterson, and it was 2009, and we got absolutely homered. It was really crime. Those refs ran off the field like they just robbed the bus, and it was so bad we sent a copy of the game to the commissioner of the OHSAA and Hank Zaborniak, and Hank's an official. You know, he was an official for, and not only a high school official, but he was a Big Ten official. And, you know, he's president of OHSAA at the time. And, you know, he said, well, he goes, oh, there are some questionable calls, but there's nothing we can do about it. You know, it's like, well, gee, thanks. You know, we just got, there were scouts. It was so bad. There were scouts from Walsh Jesuit in the bleachers, and our two guys that were spotting for us said, they heard these guys say that there's no way the refs are going to let LaSalle win tonight. I mean, it was that bad. We had 10 flags that were just horrendous, and you know, so it was scary. But I got to admit, though, the refs were not a problem, and I challenged the team to come off the bus ready to play, and they did. It was a really nice win against a really good football team. I told our kids, don't be shocked if that team doesn't make a serious run in the state tournament.
It was an interesting, some of the stats that were put up during that game. On the ground, they outgained you at 123-106. In the air, it was a different story, led by Brad Burkhardt's gun at 24 for 43, 266 yards. The impressive thing about him, in my opinion, is he was, dissing it to different receivers. I mean, he wasn't focused in on one receiver. He did throw 2 picks. I think that one of them, at least, was off a deflection, but a big game.
Those were not his fault. He has 3 interceptions for the season. 2 of them are Hail Marys at the end of the half. One against Princeton, one against Watterson. And then the other interception, Barrett, was one of our best plays, which is we fake the ball in the middle, and Brandon Walsh runs a stick route. We fake the Wilcox up the middle, and then Brandon Walsh runs into the middle like a little pop pass, and with that an arrow behind it, and we've hit Brandon Walsh many times, and a lineman got his paw on it, and you know they were kind of tall, and they were 2'6'3" kids, and tipped it, and it tipped right to a defensive end, and he caught it. It was kind of a lucky play, and you know that's not Brad's fault. You know, you worry when your quarterback is not protecting the ball, making bad decisions, forcing it in there. He didn't do that. That's not why he has the interceptions. You know, he's done a great job of protecting the ball, and I'm real proud of him. I mean, that shows he's a sharp kid. He knows what he's supposed to do with the football.
Coach, Brad was out for some time with that injury he sustained in the preseason. But now, as I think any quarterback, they get some reps underneath him. He's starting to create some mojo with those receivers, and I think as games go by, each game goes by, him and your passing attack is really dangerous to an opponent, aren't they?
They are. I'm sure that Moeller's concerned about our ability to throw the football, and you know, if they know that if they have time, if Brad has time, we're gonna have a chance for some big plays. I mean, last year, you know, one of the goals was to knock our quarterback out, and they did. And Joe Feaster came in and played pretty good, actually, and we actually put up decent numbers for going with the number 2 quarterback. So, you know, the system works, and if our kids execute and they don't make mistakes and they're patient and take what they give us, we'll keep moving the chains and we'll score touchdowns.
Coach, there's no secret that the Moeller Crusaders are an outstanding football team. They got it handed to them on Friday night. I don't anticipate you can expect that same type of football team. They're going to come into Lancer Stadium with a chip on their shoulder. What do the Lancers have to do in a fundamental sense on Friday night to beat a very, very good Moeller High School football team?
Well, I told them today they have to match their intensity coming out of the gate. They're going to be fired up for, to get back on the winning track, and they're angry, and they're going to try to take it out on us, and we have to match that intensity the first couple series. If we can, then the game will settle down, and then it'll be our scheme, our players against what they do. And so,
what's one thing that concerns you? You mentioned the running back attack of the Moeller Crusaders. Are you worried that perhaps, if there's any kind of size, well, that's before Debo went out, but your defensive front line was probably, from a standpoint of size up front, was your biggest of the two as opposed to your offense. Can they match up against the big front line, the O-line of Moeller, or are you concerned about the running game?
I'm concerned. I'm concerned. Our defense is a bend but don't break defense right now. We've take away the first game, and we've been able to give up yards, but we don't give up points. And we also create turnovers. We're very opportunistic, our defense is, and they've played good football, and they make you earn it. We're not giving up big plays. We're giving up first downs, but we're not giving up, the plus 20 play, which is a huge stat in football. Is the team that has the most plus 20 plays usually wins, and we've been the best team of that in the last 4 weeks. So hopefully we continue that trend. Moeller certainly has some playmakers and home run hitters on their football team, just like we do. So it'll be an interesting game. It's a contrast in styles, I think, and that, Moeller is a spread team, but they want to run the ball. We're a spread team, and there's probably going to be about, if we have to throw the ball, if Brad's got to throw the ball 44 times against, or I think it was 43 times against Bishop Watterson, we're going to at least get that many against Moeller. So
we're looking at
40 plus times.
We're looking at a shootout on Friday, I'm thinking, perhaps. Hopefully not. Hopefully we get all the points, but it's looking like it might be. As most of these games, Coach, come down to, it's turnovers. Color analyst Brett Schneeber, my partner, was doing a little research, and Mac Brown, the coach at Texas, was on a Big 12 coaches conference earlier today, and said that they went 8-5 last year, and in the turnover battle, they won the 8 games that they led the turnover battle, and they lost the 5 that they lost the turnover battle. And then he took an opportunity to look back in the Texas last 15 years of the Texas Longhorns football program, and believe it or not, they were 75-0 when they won the turnover battle in his tenure with the Longhorns, which dates back to 1998. Everybody knows turnovers. That's the name of the game.
We've in 2004, I had a good LaSalle football team. That was Tyler Sheehan's junior year. Anthony Coomer was a senior. I had 2 Division I quarterbacks on my football team. We were good. We made the playoffs as the 7th seed, and we had to play St. X in the first round and lost a close game to them. But we were -9 in the 3 GCL games, and so we have not been great at that. And I think it goes back to being able to play senior quarterbacks. I think that's a key stat for me. I've had to play so many younger quarterbacks, and I'm worried about that next year. Brad has been, knock on wood, he's been good at protecting the football and not turn the ball over. The running backs, I'm coaching running backs now, and we work on protecting the ball every week. Today we did a anti-fumble drill, and so we're working on it. And our defense is really working on creating those fumbles. And we've right now our defense has created 16 turnovers in the last 4 weeks. We got 0 against Dakota West, and I know, so we're in a plus column by a lot. So if we can be in a plus column, or I even think, Barrett, if we go even, we're winning.
Coach, let me ask you, if we could, a little bit about the injury status. I mean, we've documented it well on WLSN, and I'm sure people know about the three guys that are out for the remainder of the season. Lem Wire, I'm having a brain cramp here. Devo, and then
Brandon Lester
are out for the year. What the next man in? I know that's a theory, but you don't have to be a rocket science or a guy that's been the cradle of coaches at Miami to know you lose three guys like that. That's going to impact your football team. You're going to struggle a little bit. How do the Lancers overcome that as they move on to the GCL?
We had about we counted about 28 good players, all good being good, solid GCL players. Now that number's down to 25. And so if we have any line injuries, the next guy in is a defensive starter. Like it'll be John Sweatman or Jordan Thompson. If we have another defensive line injury, the next guy in is Dave Malmer, who's a starting guard. So that's what will happen. We'll have guys that have to play both ways. It's not so much in the skill positions as it is. The secondary's got enough guys. We have enough receivers. I have enough running backs. But the next quarterback's a freshman. And the third quarterback's a sophomore. So, we're kind of thin at QB. We need Brad more than anybody. So, and we need our linemen to stay healthy. I have a stable of good backs. I mean, LeBron Brock and Kevin Ferguson are very good players, and just Morgan Wilcox and Jason Bell are very good players. So we're solid there, and so we figure we have a little depth at some positions, but some we don't. So you just go play and you don't worry about it. And if you could drive yourself crazy worrying about who's healthy and who's not.
Two more questions I got for you, and I'll let you go for the evening. I know you got some game planning to do early in the week here. The first one is, you play these same teams over and over. The head coaches, you got John Rodenberg, Ramsey over at Elder, there's Specht over at St. X. You guys, you see each other every year. There's really no tricks, are there? I mean, it is what it is, and it all comes down to execution. Is that accurate?
That's totally accurate. We know what they're going to do, and they know what we're going to do, and we know how we're going to line up, and you just you try to put your kids in a chance to win the game as a coach, and that's the question I ask my coaches after every game: did we give our kids a chance? And if the answer is yes, then there's no regrets. Sometimes you're not good enough.
Brett Schnieber called the game last week, and you talk about your coaches. Brett Schnieber, if I know you're not an avid follower of WLSN. You should be. We'll work on you. Maybe by next year we'll get you there. But he gave you and your coaching staff the game ball. He said, frankly, just flat out, you guys out-coached that Bishop Watterson football team. That's a compliment, obviously, to you and your coaching staff. Did you see something in that game last Friday that kind of swayed you guys to maybe change the game plan up a little bit or maybe throw some wrinkles in? But it seemed like every time they would counter, you guys would counter back, and it would just be an unbelievable night for the Lancers, and Brett gave all the credit and kudos to the coaching staff.
Well, I appreciate Brett doing that, and that's very kind of him to do that. But I look at it like this. It's the system. We have a great system that I didn't invent this system, but it's Tom Grippa's offense and defense, and I have coaches that implement the plays and implement the concepts that we're using on the field. And if our kids understand what they're supposed to do and we don't make mistakes, we're going to be in every game and have a chance to win. Then it comes down to having playmakers. Derek Keefe's a playmaker. I mean, he made some great catches on Friday night to give us first downs, and calling plays is calling plays. I think every play in our playbook could be a touchdown. It's just a matter of kids making plays. And our system is an aggressive system. I know, Brett, that Barrett, I know sometimes that my teams have turnovers because I am aggressive calling plays. Okay, so I can be criticized for that, but I at least can look in the mirror and say, I gave my quarterback and my receivers a chance to win the game.
Cool. You got Moeller coming in, who prior to their loss at St. X was number 10 in the country. You got Guy on the other sideline who's got a lot of LaSalle ties. This is a big football game for more than what's on the field, but for the alumni, for the fans, this is going to be a lot of fun on Friday night at our house, won't it?
It's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. We're going to be Channel 5's the Blitz 5 game of the week, and it's going to be huge. It's I think it's a statement game for our program.
Coach, I know you got to run, and we appreciate you taking the time talking about it. It's going to be a lot of fun watching the Lancers on Friday night, and you can, you specifically, but the fans can check out the WLSN Brogan Tire Tailgate Show, which will start at 6 o'clock down in the lower lot. Joining us will be the aforementioned George Vogel from Channel 5. Will be joining us at 6:30, and a host of others down there, including Kirk Neighbor coming back to the house on Friday night. Coach, good luck, and we'll see you on Friday.
Thanks, Barrett.
That's head coach Tom Grippa, and we look forward to covering the Lancers all week long. You can follow right here on WLSN, the worldwide leader in high school sports. You're listening to WLSN, the LaSalle Broadcasting Network.